Hello everyone. Today I want to share a review of a book that I have genuinely enjoyed and learned a lot from. The Craft of History and the Study of the New Testament by Beth M. Sheppard. This is the book. Let me say this at the outset. This book is not a devotional book and it is not an easy read. This book requires a lot of careful thinking. But if you are interested in New Testament studies, historical methods, or how scholars actually do history, then this book is extremely important. This book is not about reconstructing the life of Jesus or early Christianity directly. Instead, Shepherd asked a deeper question. How do historians study the New Testament and what assumptions shape their conclusions? Her central argument is that history is not simply about collecting mere facts. History is a craft, a disciplined practice that involves interpretation, judgment, and context. Historians are always shaped by their time, their intellectual environment, culture, whether they admit it or not. In the first part of the book, Shepard introduces history as an academic discipline. She challenges the idea that historians are neutral observers who simply report what actually happened. Instead, she shows that historical writing always involved choices. What questions we ask, which sources we privilege, and how we interpret evidence. This section is especially helpful for students who assume that historical agreement exists only because some scholars are careless or biased. Shepard shows that this agreement is often built into the very nature of historical inquiry. In part 2, Shepard traces the development of historical methods from antiquity to the modern period. One of the most fascinating sections here is her discussion of the three quests for the historical Jesus. She explains how the first quest reflected the Enlightenment ideals and produced Jesuses that looks suspiciously like modern liberals. The second quest, though attempting to correct the earlier mistakes, still failed to reckon honestly with their own context and ended up producing a Jesus who sounded more like an existential philosopher than a first century Jew. The third quest, particularly the Jesus Seminar, claimed greater methodological rigor but remained deeply embedded in modern historicism. What I appreciated most here is her critique of Jesus Seminar's assumption that democratic voting could eliminate bias. Yes, voting may reduce individual bias, but it does not make a group neutral. Shared presuppositions still shape outcome. As Shepard shows, the seminar was not as ideologically diverse as one might hope, and its results reflected the assumptions of its time. This section is a powerful reminder that method alone cannot rescue us from interpretation. The third part of the book was personally my favorite. Here, Shepard moves from theory to practice. showing how historical method actually works in concrete New Testament studies. She explores clothing and textiles in Luke's Gospel, showing how material culture can illuminate social status, economics, and meaning. The next case study was on the woman at the well. The woman at the well in John chapter 4, demonstrating how historical, cultural, and narrative considerations shape interpretation. Many of us have heard sermons and teachings that portray the Samaritan woman as an adulterer. However, through a careful and revisionist historical approach, Sheppard offers a different way of reading the text, one that challenges long held assumptions. I won't be a spoil sport here. Read it for yourself and discover how historical method can open up fresh and thoughtful perspectives on familiar passages. The last case study was on ancient medicine and Paul's Corinth, offering insight into how medical knowledge and ancient metaphor functioned in the ancient world. These chapters are extremely valuable because they show that historical study is not abstract philosophy. They directly affect how we read biblical text. At the same time, Shepherd never pretends that these methods give us final or absolute certainty. They offer plausible, argued interpretations, not unquestionable conclusions. I especially appreciated how Shepherd ends the book. She writes, change is inevitable. Methods come and go. Terminology may require updating. Not every change is good, nor will everyone adopt innovations at the same pace. But the past itself is immutable. It merely waits for us to learn new things about it. This closing captures the heart of this book. History changes not because the past changes, but because our questions, tools, and perspectives change. That insight alone makes this book worth reading. A few final observations. I was genuinely impressed by Beth M. Sheppard, the author, as a scholar, and I must say it is refreshing and encouraging to see such a clear, rigorous contribution from a lady scholar in this field. I wouldn't recommend this book for beginners. I wouldn't recommend it to first year Bible students. However, for master's level students, teachers, and serious readers of the New Testament, this book is extremely important. It trains not just to read the Bible historically, but to think critically about historical claims themselves. In short, the craft of history and the study of the New Testament is a demanding but rewarding book. It does not give easy answers, but it equips readers with something far more important, that is, historical awareness and methodological humility. Thank you for watching. I hope this review helps you decide whether this book is right for your reading and teaching journey. Bye.